hearty welcome to all the participants, the invitees on the dais, and Dr. Subir from Bombay, and Dr. Nageswaran from Singapore. Thank you, Dr. Subir and Dr. Nageswaran, for joining us. And so I'm going to briefly introduce what is this EventTide and the topic, but I'll then hand it over to Professor Charan Singh, who will take over the panel discussion. And so that's the way we have designed it today. So I'm the chairperson of the Center for Public Policy, and one of the recent initiatives I've taken is that we thought we'll have this, I wouldn't call it really a formal and then a seminar type, it's more like a workshop where we intend to call specialists from respective fields and then have a, let's say, a current topic discussed. I mean, it may not be very research based, but we want to really pull out the insights from the, people writing on it and the practitioners working with the problem, In fact, 10 days back we had organized, but it couldn't happen. We had called the Minister for Food here, and we wanted to have a session on food security. But unfortunately, the Minister had to go urgently to Delhi, so it couldn't be, but it will be done very soon. So idea is that we take up a topic, prepare a background material on that, and then have specialists to speak on that, both from the academic and the practitioners world, and then get a broad idea of what's really the whole issue is about. Because what you really get from the papers or TV is really like very reactionary and responsive. Not so much of insights or reflective and like that. So we thought we should have more of these sessions. And so we have a very interesting panel, and then we thought that we should have a banker, and then we should have an economist, and we should have the rating agency also, a person who have been really critically looking at all these issues. And Anantha he's an ex-banker, he's an ex-academician, and he's a prolific writer also. So that way we have very balanced and a widespread, I would say, a range of specialists to speak on this topic. And I don't know, when we started talking, Charan and me, we just stuck upon this topic, $65. It looked to me like chicken 65, so it really rhymed with that. So we thought that it gels well. Even though actually it's rupee, which is $65, is not 65, And we were hoping that when we gave the price, will it still be 65 when the workshop really happens? Because we decided it about a month back. And I should say it didn't really fail us. I was just asking them, is the price is over? They said, no, it's still not, don't worry. The workshop is still valid. That's what they told us. And now I request Professor Charan Singh to take over.
Thank you, Professor Ramesh. Welcome everybody to this beautiful EventTide discussion on $65. As Professor Ramesh has mentioned to you, I am one of the people who thought it should certainly go beyond 65, and rest of the country said no, 65 is a good value, and I thought $65 was fascinating, and this should be our topic for this beautiful discussion. My plan of action today is as follows. I'm going to briefly introduce you to the panel participants. Actually, none of them need an introduction. All of them are so well known, but I'll just do this formality. And after that, I'm thinking of making a small presentation which would probably set the base for the discussion today. And then we will go ahead asking views from our esteemed panelists. To introduce you to the panelists, I would like to start with Dr. Subir Gokarn. He was my boss at the RBI when he was the Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank. And right now, he is the Director of Research, Brookings India, and Senior Fellow, Brookings Institute, Washington, D.C. You have the profile of his in your papers. Then I would like to introduce you to Dr. Dharmakirti Joshi. Dr. Joshi is the Chief Economist, CRISIL, and you would have recently read the report which they had come out on the state of the economy. Dr. Anantha Nageswaran is joining us from Singapore on the Skype. He is currently the consultant economist with Asian Economics, an independent macroeconomic research institution. He is an external advisor on investment strategy to human capital investors and independent asset manager based in Singapore. Finally, Shekar Viswanathan is joining us from the industry. He is the Vice Chairman and Full-Time Director of Kirloskar Motor Private Limited, and he comes with 33 years of experience in the corporate sector. He has been with the Kirloskar since 1998. You have the profiles of each one of them, and then I think now I should, after this brief introduction, go ahead discussing a little bit about the topic that we have on hand before I open the panel for discussion. What I thought is, I'll show you this beautiful cartoon. And why did this happen? So the cartoon is telling us this round coin is toppling down the hill all the time. Should we have a square coin which will be more stable and not topple all over the place? This is all that happened after the rupee started its roller coaster journey. On a serious note, this is how the exchange rate looks. I have the data till the latest that we have. And why does the exchange rate look the way it looks? Why does it depreciate so rapidly? There could be different theories, and in an academic institution it is obvious. You would ask, what are the determinants of an exchange rate? Mainly two. As the theory would suggest us, importantly, interest rate differentials and the inflation differentials. This is how the inflation, if measured in CPI, looks between these two countries, India and the US. And this is what we saw as far as the exchange rate of the India and US is concerned. So the gap has been widening between the inflation of these two countries, and probably that is reflected. It's not today, it's not yesterday, it was not last year. If you look at the exchange rate from 93-94, after we did a major upheaval, India suffered a major upheaval, and we reformed our exchange rate system. If you look at the exchange rate from then and look at the inflation differential between the two countries in the range of 3.6%. Now, to a great extent, this was explained in terms of current account deficit. And this is how our current account deficit looks like. It touched 3% in 1991-92. The balance of payments high-level committee chaired by Dr. C. Rangarajan proposed it should not be more than 2%. We religiously maintained it at 2%, and in the last few years, it just got out of all the barriers and limits and touched 6.8% in the last quarter of 2012. It averaged for the whole year around 4.8%. This is a very dismal performance. Now, the deteriorating current account deficit was blamed on two items, oil imports and gold. Now, nobody would anticipate if the price is rising, the demand would go down. But this is the story as far as oil imports and quantity of oil imports are concerned. Quantity of oil imports have been rather reluctant and stubborn. The prices might have moved here or there. More interesting is the story of gold. Now, we all know in India, according to the World Gold Council, 18,000 tons of gold is held amongst the households in India, the largest in any country. Now, gold demand has been basically coming from the rural areas. 70% of the gold purchases are restricted to the rural areas. Could it be because of the uncertainty and the inflation? Well, I'll just show you that graph. But before that, this is how the price of gold looks over the last few years. It's been going down in recent months. I've plotted the imports of gold and inflation, and you can see how the correlation looks pretty close. Could be hypothesized then that it is the uncertainty which is resulting in such gold imports. Even central banks have started buying gold now. Once again, back to our story of the US dollar and the rupee. This is the latest trend in the rupee-dollar rate. This is the last 3 months. I will show you a longer time. This is the last 3 months. And this is how it moves along with the Nifty. Another trend along with Nifty, 18-month trend, as you can see when Nifty is stable, how the USD rate moves. also has a relationship with the FI's flow. Now here comes the story of the Fed tapering, and then we all know what happened. This is not only for India, but exchange rates across the emerging markets have taken some hit. What is happening here? I want to narrate briefly a small story. This is how the foreign exchange reserves look like, the latest data that we could have comparatively for all these countries. China holds more than $3 trillion. India is moving between 270 to 300 billion dollars. If you look comparatively, this is how the picture is, and I am showing the picture from 96 onwards to the latest. And as you can see, from 96 onwards, the story of international reserves has been changing. Why did I take 96? I would like to mention. I wanted to take a year before the Asian crisis. So it gives you a trend. How international reserves have been rising, sort of precautionary motive from uncertainties globally. As a percentage of GDP, little muted, but again reasonably high over the trend over the period. As far as India is concerned, foreign exchange reserves to GDP ratio has been rising, but more importantly, if you look at the import cover, the reserves required to cover the imports in a year, they were pretty high at one point of time, 14 months. And then they have been coming down. It's just about 7 months now. Taking a global view, this is how the US long-term interest rates are there. The trend seems to be reversing, and that is what the story may happen when the Fed Reserve signaled they could be reversing the easy monetary policy or the unconventional monetary policy stance. Some factors which we would like to consider. If you look at the global picture, the gross debt of countries, advanced and emerging countries, has changed over the years. Please look at the last row, USA, debt to GDP, this is percentage to GDP. Debt to GDP ratio has been rising, almost double. So is the story true for Ireland, also partly true for Japan, Portugal, Singapore, and across. Everybody is having that. As far as emerging countries are concerned, India did have some fiscal space. Debt to GDP ratio for India has come down from 70 to 66%, which is good. But for others like China, it has gone up. For Indonesia, it's come down. Russia has gone up again. South Africa gone up. If you look at the consumer prices, again, you will see that for India, consumer prices in India has been significantly different and large than other countries, 10.4%. And here I've shown you for a number of countries, we are on CPI doing the worst. As far as the current account is concerned, well, I just mentioned to you what happened to our current account deficit. I won't say that we are the only ones who did so badly, but amongst the emerging countries, here is the trend. 4.8% is what we are averaging, other countries are not. If you look at the advanced countries, of course, we have Iceland 4.9%, but then UK is minus 3.8%, but others are not that bad. Overall fiscal balance of the government, India is again at minus 8% amongst the emerging countries, not very good. I have used this data from the World Economic Outlook and the Global Financial Stability Report released by the IMF yesterday. So it's just from the bakers, very, very hot data. Okay. Given this little background, I wanted to mention the US dollar rupee rate. As of now, the US enjoys the reserve currency status. And some of the questions which I'm going to pose to the panelists and learn from them are going to be related to this. The reserve currency status is not for all times to come. I've just plotted for you different spans of time. Reserve currency status does move from one country to another. It's the US now after the Second World War, It was Britain earlier, and of course France before that. The graph shows you the trend. So this is the big story. Will we be able to change the story? Did the recent global crisis change something? These are the issues that must be in the minds of almost everybody. With this, I close my presentation.